So one of the first stories that I wanted to share was is about something I can't describe any other way than possible alien abduction. It's happened 3 times in my life. The first time I was out fishing at Calaveras Lake, which is a lake that is southeast of San Antonio, and this would have been in the early to mid 1980s. And I was out there catfishing at night, and I believe it was probably Friday or Saturday night. It certainly was a weekend night, and for some reason I wanted to be home by midnight. So I had been keeping a close watch on the time, and about 11 o'clock I started reeling in my lines and packing it up because I had about a 30-minute drive to get home, 30-minute drive to get home, and it was going to take me a little while to get all my lines reeled in and stowed and in the car, and lawn chair picked up, cooler, all that kind of stuff. So at any rate, I started packing it up, got packed up, got in the car. So I had about 30 or 40 minutes to get home, which was before midnight, which was perfect, and took off. So I'm headed up Highway 181 to San Antonio, and I got the radio on, and I'm listening to it, and they came across and they said something about the time was like 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, well, that ain't right. So I looked at my watch. Sure enough, my watch said it was like 4 o'clock in the morning. And so I'm tuning into some other stations and trying to figure out what the heck's going on. There was no iPhones or internet or anything back then, but I couldn't figure out what the heck was going on. So I get back home, and sure enough, all my clocks at home say it's 4 o'clock in the morning too. And I cannot figure it out for the life of me. I know I started packing up about 11. I know it only took me 15-20 minutes to pack up, and it's only a 20 to 30-minute drive home. So I should have been home by midnight, but I wasn't. So no way to explain that other than maybe aliens sucked me up off the lonely road in the middle of the night and put me back several hours later. And I just don't know how to explain that. So the second time that I had an incident did not involve lost time, but it did involve a difference in space. Me, my wife, 3 kids were driving from San Antonio to Houston, and we were taking old Highway 90 across Texas, and we had gotten to Luling, Texas, and I've made this route before. We were supposed to stay to the left, which would take us on towards Sandy Fork, and then eventually to Welder, and then on to Flatonia, and on to Houston. At any rate, we're driving along. I took the left, and about 15-20 minutes later, I see a sign for Gonzales, Texas. Well, I knew Gonzales, Texas was not where I was headed. Sure enough, I was about 7 miles outside of Gonzales, Texas. It's not where I should have been. So that particular incident ended up costing me an extra 30 minutes because I went to Gonzales and then had to go and go northeast back to Welder, Texas. I asked the wife, did we do something wrong? Did I go right instead of left? She goes, no, we went the same way we always go. It was a very obvious fork in the road, and we always go left, and for some reason I ended up 20 miles down the road as if I'd gone right. Again, no other way to explain that other than aliens picked me up, examined me and the family, stuck us back down in Texas, but on the wrong road. Not far off, but enough to where I noticed. And then the third incident actually happened fairly recently. So this would have been in the mid 80s, the early 80s for Calaveras Lake, and maybe the late 80s for the family trip to Houston. And then this last incident happened in 2023. And I'm going to start this story by telling you that I have a little bit of hair that grows on the top of my ears and a little bit on the inside as I've gotten older, and I keep an eye on it, and I'm always pulling it, plucking it, shaving it, whatever. And at any rate, I had gone to Alaska, and I was coming back. And on the plane back from Alaska, I happened to reach up and scratch my ear, and I noticed I had a hair growing out of the top of my ear that was about 1.5 inches, 2 inches long. And it was at a spot I've never had hair grow out of my ear. It was kind of towards the back. Normally I have it towards the top. And I was like, what the heck? And I grabbed it and I pulled it and threw it away. Well, that caused me to reach up and check the other ear for whatever reason, and there was 1.5 inches, 2 inch long hair on that ear too. And I couldn't believe it. I mean, for 1.5 inches, 2 inch, hair to grow in my ear would have taken years, right? So I grabbed it and I pulled it too. I didn't keep either one of them. I was tired. I was coming back from Alaska. It's a long trip. I was tired. I was confused. I just got rid of them, but I should have held on to them to check, see what they were, because the only thing I can think of was aliens sucked me up off the airplane, did stuff to me, maybe took me into outer space. I was around a black hole. I was there for 10,000 years. I don't know. And they put me back, and they forgot to shave the back of my ear, and that hair grew. Or maybe it was some sort of probe, like an electrode sort of thing, or something that was inserted, and they forgot to remove it or remove it fully. I don't know. But and in the 3 or 4 months that have gone by, I keep checking. No hairs growing there where those 1.5 inch, 2 inch long hairs were growing. I have no clue. So at any rate, those are my 3 stories of possible alien abduction, 3 events that happened. I have no idea whatsoever how to explain them, other than aliens picked me up, did something to me, put me back either in the wrong time, the wrong place, or forgot to remove their ear electrodes. Alright, so that concludes today's oral history of Pirate Stew. If there's something you got a question about or a story you'd like to hear, let me know. I'll see if I can get it into an episode. Otherwise, I truly expect to hear from no one. And again, maybe 20, 30 years from now, my grandkids might watch some of these, but just not expecting a whole lot of viewership. But who knows? I could be wrong. There may be people out there just dying to hear stupid stories from a stupid pirate. So if that's you, thanks for watching. Comment below what you liked about the story, or what you'd like to hear in a future story, or any questions. And we'll see you during the next episode of the Oral Histories of Pirate Stew. And probably other people too.